Welcome back to Reddit Discover channel. Reddit, I don't want to sleep tonight. What is the scariest thing that has ever happened to you? I was 13 and had asthma at the same time as a really intense chest and head cold. I was waiting for the bus and just as it was pulling up, I sneezed, and then my lungs stopped working and my throat closed up. No matter how hard I tried, my lungs would not suck in air. I looked with panic at the bus driver and the other passengers, but they didn't move or say anything. I made gestures to convey that I was in distress, but no one did anything. I started to punch myself in the chest and stomach to force myself to breathe. I hammered so hard as I started to see stars and, finally, I was able to suck in a full breath of air. I was so dizzy by this point, I managed to climb onto the bus and I just sat in silence in a seat thinking about how I almost died and no one did anything. I told my mom when I got home and she immediately took me to see a doctor who got me on anti-inflammatory and antibiotics. Holy smoke. Asthma is a bit. When I was about 10, I was running in the woods with a friend, and my lungs just kinda closed up too. I fell to the ground, my vision started to blur and become black. I was terrified. My friend had no idea what to do, of course, we were young. At some point I relaxed and was able to breathe again, but it was like breathing with a straw. Luckily asthma gets better with age, but shit, that was horrible. Something like that happened to me too once. I can get asthma attacks from being frightened. Freaked the feck out of a friend in school who jumped out from a corner and screamed boo at me. I fell to the floor and couldn't breathe. Curious, was this diagnosed as asthma? Because it sounds exactly like a laryngospasm. I get those frequently and they are beyond terrifying. Not scary but totally baffling. I worked at the public library. I scanned a guy's library card, then went to hand it back to him. He saw me start to hand it to him. Our hands were about a foot apart. Then suddenly the card was gone. It never made it into his hand. We were both totally confused. I looked under the computer desk in weird cracks but never found it. I still think about it. Similar to your story, my friends and I have a traveling mascot. Whenever someone goes abroad, they take it with them and take pictures with it. I'll add some to this comment later. Anyway, most of the time it's at my place, because my place kind of functions like the meeting point of our friends group. It is a rubber pelican chew toy for a dog, which we named Kippa, chicken, because we didn't see it was a pelican. Anyway, a while ago I was cleaning my house. I find Kippa chilling on the sofa, so I put him on the coffee table. I put him down on the table, turn around and get on my knees to look underneath the sofa to see what's underneath it. Fucking Kippy is. I put the fecker on the coffee table 2 seconds ago, behind me. Now he is staring right back at me from underneath the sofa. That kinda scared me. But I had a talk, so it's all good now. Edit, location where I found Kippa. Was he mad? There has to be more to that. How did you ever resolve it? Did the card turn up? I've been flicking through this thread for ages and this is the only one that's really stopped me. I was sitting at a campfire inked with my cousins and it's pretty dark out. As we are sit here, my cousin points off into the darkness and says, "What's that?" I look over and see what looks like some sort animal that almost looks human, except it's on all fours and the knees on its back legs are reversed so they bend the other way. It really freaked me out, but before anyone could get a flashlight on it, it crawled away. This was by far the weirdest, creepiest, strangest thing I have ever seen. Sounds like it was possibly a Wendigo. Try checking out the Goat Man stories. The reverse knee thing creeps me the frick out. Here's one from my childhood. It's a really vague memory, but one that still occasionally comes to mind. I'm not sure if it was a dream or sleep paralysis, but I woke up and my bed was surrounded by shadowy silhouettes of varying height, all with glowing red eyes. I distinctly remember feeling very calm, only a twinge of fear about the incident. The next day, I told my mom about the shadow people by my bed. She asked me one question. Were they nice to you? Yes. I don't know why I said that. Edit, I just tried drawing a few roughly how I remembered them. This is not at all accurate to what was in my head because my drawing is sit. Op delivers.s. Hypnagogic hallucination probably. Or you pierced the veil and saw the ghost demons. I suffered from night terrors for years and was regularly visited by the shadowy figures that I now refer to as shadow people. It's more common than I thought, since I've talked to other people who have experienced almost identical nightmares. Look up shadow people. Were you at all sleep deprived? It's apparently relatively common for sleep deprived people to see so-called shadow people. The Yellowstone supervolcano is one of the largest volcanoes in the world. If it erupts, it will fling enough ash and dust in the air to cloud most of the northern hemisphere for many, many years. The state of Wyoming will get more or less in stage Egypt, but for the rest of the continent and much of Europe and Asia, there just wouldn't be enough sunlight and clean air to grow crops or livestock, and most of the people living there would die a slow death of starvation and lung damage. There is nothing whatsoever that can be done to prevent this. While it is very unlikely to happen any time in the next several thousand years, there are also no reliable ways to predict it, so it is entirely possible that it could erupt at any time. And, again, there is nothing at all that can be done to prevent or mitigate it. Billions will die, slowly and miserably. We will just get a really big cork. The joke's on you, we already get almost no direct sunlight. Sincerely, Scotland. I bet this was traumatizing for you. Man, it's good to be an Australian cunt.